Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, who is the Chairman, House Committee on the Capital Market. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Just quickly, you're not the Honorable T.J. Yusuf, who's defected from the PDP.
No.
Are you?
No.
You're still a member of the PDP?
I'm a member of the PDP.
Okay.
I'm the Secretary of the House Caucus of the PDP.
Okay.
So I'm still here, a member of PDP.
So just a quick clarification there.
Yeah.
Now, wondering, what do you make of this? So the APC has come out with their report on restructuring, and they have some very heavy recommendations, which they believe will move the country forward. Do you think the National Assembly will be willing to consider the report?
It's so unfortunate that we play politics for everything in this country. Not quite 5 months ago, we considered the recommendation of the Committee on Amendment of the 1999 Constitution, and majority of APC members voted against devolution of power.
Majority of?
APC members voted against devolution of power. We lost that because it is required, we have needed 2/3 of the House to scale through.
Yeah, but it was a very tiny, I mean, if you compare that with what happened in the Senate, it was a very tiny fraction. You almost scaled through.
No, it was far. Especially on autonomy, on state police, what have you. Unfortunately, too, we felt that it should have not been a lump sum thing, that those who drafted the recommendation will have separated some of those items. We all agree that there's need to restructure in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we play too much politics with this. Let's be sincere with ourselves. How will I take seriously a recommendation, no matter how fantastic it is, from a government that told us in 2014 that national conference was a jamboree, that recommendation would not see the light of the day. And when this government came to power and the president was asked, say it is better left in the shelf there, I will not touch it. January this year, the president still emphasized that restructuring is not our problem. The man who chaired the committee said it is for just political opportunism. The party chairman, when he was asked about restructuring, said he's not part of, that he wasn't going to be interested in it. So what I'm saying is that I have little things to fault in the recommendation. But is it done with the genuine intention to restructure Nigeria?
I'm wondering, just a moment, I'm wondering, do you think that there is a dichotomy between what the people want and what politicians want?
I don't think there's a dichotomy between what the people and the politicians want. It's just that the politicians consciously manipulate the people's desire to win the election. How come a party that has restructuring in its manifesto will wait till 2018, 10 months to election?
But it started last year.
Yeah, it's deliberate. You start last year, you submit report, you have another 1 month or 2 months before the party. Don't forget, there's some item there require constitutional amendment. There's a process for constitutional amendment, we all know. So why won't the party liaise with its House of National Assembly Caucus at the point of doing constitutional amendment, make sure that these recommendations are fused into that amendment and make them buy into it? So how do we start now? How do we go from?
Honorable Member, in fairness to President Buhari's previous statements on the issue of restructuring, he did say in that very same speech that he's open to the idea of restructuring, that they're open to ideas, but that in his personal view, that it's the process rather than the structure that needs to be looked at. So
if I, as a president, say I'm open to something, but in my personal view, that's not what we did. What do you think to mean?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to impose his view on everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But that's not the point. I want to communicate here. I want to ask you, sir, when you look at the recommendations as they've been laid out, particularly, for example, we say, the country's divided. Look at the farmer-herdsman clashes. Look what it's causing. Within these recommendations, the APC Restructuring Committee has now advocated that the country should look at how to reform federal character principle in such a way that there's state of residence as opposed to to give everybody a chance of indigenship in any state.
I'm 100% in sync with that.
So, sir, wouldn't you agree that this, regardless of who brings forward these recommendations, that some of these things that would help national development should be passed? I
am not in any way faulting those positions. I agree into two. What I'm saying is the practicability of doing that. I'm a lawmaker. I've been in Parliament for 7 years now, and I know the process. What I'm saying is, if of a truth, restructuring is a burning issue for this government, you won't wait till now. Don't forget, the party chairman said they will pass it through the other organs of the party for making a recommendation to go to the president. Okay, let's assume it takes them 1 month. He gets to the president, it takes another 1 month. A bill is passed, a proposed bill passed to the National Assembly. The two chambers take up any month. Don't forget that primaries for elective offices will start by October. By the amendment of the Electoral Act, left for the INEC position, it should start from August. So what I'm saying is that the Jonathan administration was accused by this same party of playing politics without constitutional what do you call it, national conference. And that also why, at the time, because I still blame the government, I blame Jonathan regime for that. That's also why, after the report came, it had to kind of develop a cold feet. It had to take certain step in spite of the opinion of the opposition party. But we had it. Those recommendations were fantastic. In fact, they brought a novel idea of marrying parliamentary system of government with presidential system of government to reduce friction and to reduce cost. The idea was to make parliament, both chambers, part-time, to reduce cost. And to make make the president appoint some of his ministers from the parliament. So as you don't have somebody taking money as a parliamentarian, another taking as a minister. So there were fantastic recommendations in that. I was thinking, no matter how bad you feel about that government, you'll have just pick that recommendation to dust the ones that you feel are relevant.
Honorable Member, within your party at the moment, there seems to be different shades of opinion on this one issue. Just a few days ago, when Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon paid courtesy call to the former President Goodluck Jonathan, they briefed him on the recommendations made by the APC Restructuring Committee. His response to them was to say that, in his view, the former president, that these recommendations in large part would move the country forward. But now there are, within the same breath, within the same party, there are PDP governors who are saying, this is a waste of time, let's write it off, no matter what's going on in the country.
What they are saying is that nobody is disagreeing with the recommendation. What we are saying is that, hey, how do I trust you that you will do this? The former president said, if this is implemented, that will help the country. Because he believed in it. He chose not to play politics with it. He rose to become a statesman. I agree with that. And I have not, apart from the local government issue that I think should be tinkered with a bit, I have nothing against the recommendation. What I'm saying is that those who may derive it, if you, in Yoruba, if you're going to give me clothes, I will check the one you are wearing. That would determine, that would convince me if you give me something fantastic or not. Those who may derive it, check their body language, check the languages they've used of recent. I say, if they can genuinely implement it, fine. But I'm saying, as a lawmaker, knowing that there's a process to lawmaking, some of these recommendations require you tinkering with the Constitution. So
in your view, would that process be better lubricated, for example, if the PDP and not the APC were the ones making the recommendation?
It's of a truth. I do not think we should play politics with those very important things that should redefine this country. My heart bleeds if I look at other federations. I use Canada as an example. Canada has a population about 1/3 of Nigerian population, a landmass about 4 times ours. They have oil reserve 4 times ours, and they have multi-lingual country. They operate a federation that is worthy of emulation. Nobody comes to the capital to share money every month.